Hello, everyone. This is the Movie Night Society. It's just Will and I again. Uh,
You're
we're
stuck with
talking
just the
about
two of us.
late. Yeah, yeah. It's just us. Uh, we talked about Blade Runner last week, and we decided let's just talk about the sequel. Uh, I've seen the sequel. I think I saw it in theaters. Uh,
Did you?
yeah, I was
Okay,
one of the five
I remember you
people who saw
saw
it
it.
in theaters.
Yeah, I remember you saw this movie back when it first came out, but I didn't know you saw it in theaters. Or maybe I did. Maybe you did tell me. Now I remember. It's been a while. What is this movie? 5 years old now.
Yeah, 5 years
Came out in
old. It came out.
2017. Gosh, it doesn't feel that long.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, this
Uh,
movie came out like 3 years ago, right? Oh no, 2017. Wow.
yeah, so it came out, well, 40 years ago is when the original came out. So it
Hmm.
was like 35 years between the two movies. Uh,
Long time for a
probably
sequel.
because, yeah, probably because the first movie wasn't like a hit or anything. I think we discussed that last time. It was like kind of people
Yeah.
didn't know what to think of it, and
Well, after seeing it,
uh,
I can see why.
yeah, it's not the movie that is advertised. So I want to ask you, what did you think going into this one? We're gonna spoil the whole thing, by the way. It's like a 2.5 hour movie. It's hard to just talk about it. I don't know, like bit by bit. We're just gonna jump around. But like, what were your like expectations for this one? I'm curious.
Hmm. I expected it to be, is weird the right word to put it? Kind of like the first one, because the first one is kind of a weird movie.
It's kind of weird.
It's a bit of a weird movie. So I expected a little bit weird, but I don't know else how to say like what I expected with this, because the first one was definitely not what I thought it was going to be. So I didn't know if they were going to try to make it more of the same with the sequel, or if it was going to just try to be its own unique thing. My expectations were not low, but I don't know. Like this was like hard to describe for expectations. I just expected it. It's like, well, if I liked the original, I've heard good things about this one, so I imagine liking it. And really, that's what my expectations were, which I'd say they were met, because, long story short, I enjoyed this movie. Um, Definitely some slow parts. It is like a 2.5 hour movie, but I think I
Yeah.
asked you about this if it felt its length, and it did not feel its length. It felt, like a 2.5 hour movie, but not really. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
it keeps
long,
you
but it
very
didn't feel
like,
long.
yeah, it keeps you pretty engaged with the story, and it doesn't like really
I thought it
let
was
up too much.
better paced than the original.
Yeah, I it's like it's funny. I think I was watching something today. I can't remember what, but they like, oh, it was, I think it was like James Rolfe like was talking about Star Trek Next Generation, and it made me think of that part in Wayne's World where they're talking about Star Trek The Next Generation. I think he says something like, ah, yes, it'll never be as regarded as the original, but in many ways it's superior. I kind of
Yeah.
feel that way with this movie. It's like
Hmm.
it's kind of it's like a better story in a lot of ways. Like it's better paced, and it has a more, I don't know, the mood of the original movie is what I love about that movie. Um this one, I really like the story. I really like, just, I don't know, it felt like I was watching like a mini series in a way, just
I
like
love
everything
visually
felt
what they
very
did with it too.
developed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
like
love
how
visually.
different this movie
It
is.
it felt like they took all the ideas that were there in the original and just kind of experimented a little bit more, and just did more of that, because it definitely felt like this feels like it's the same world as one. They captured that like aesthetic and look I thought the original had, and I felt like, yeah, this doesn't feel like it's a completely different universe or world set from the original. It feels like, yeah, this feels like it just set in the same world, but a little bit more in the future. Has that kind of feel to it. Because I was a little unsure going in, like, is this
Yeah,
gonna feel like it's still set in the same world? It's a sequel that's set so long after. It just could feel so different. I didn't think that though. I thought it felt pretty at home.
yeah. By the way, your camera's like lagging for me. I hope it's not lagging for the video, but I just wanted to address that. I don't know if it's
Oh, I
a
turned it
thing.
off and I turned it back on. Maybe that will help. We'll see. It seems
We'll
fine on
see.
my end.
It's not that big a deal. I think the audio is fine, but yeah, like I agree. This movie, it does feel like the same world. I think I I mean, it doesn't have that same sort of like ethereal, kind of feel to it. It feels much more like, I don't know, realistic
Hmm.
or grounded in a way. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the just kind of color and moody noir lighting
Yeah.
is kind of stripped away from the movie.
I
But
still thought
like
that it was
it
really
works.
good in this one too, though.
Yeah.
I loved like how this
Yeah.
movie looked and the colors that they used. I thought it was great. I
Oh
didn't.
yeah, I love the way the movie
Uh,
looks too.
yeah, visually
It
very
definitely
appealing
is very
movie.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still yet feels at home.
Yeah. Yeah, so like 30 years have passed. I think 30, yeah. Yeah, because the original was 2019. This is 2049. So yeah, it's like we get to see just how things have changed in the world. Um, but what did you think of like the whole like just concept of the movie? Because I found it really interesting because it sort of feels I'm and by the concept I mean the whole idea that like the I mean we don't know if Deckard is a replicant still, but like the fact that like a replicant could create like a baby is like a really interesting
Yeah, I thought it was
idea
a
that I
pretty interesting idea.
yeah, I feel like I haven't seen that in other like sci-fi stories. I'm sure there's something out there, but it felt really like fresh to me. Like I was really, especially watching the movie in theaters for the first time. It was just like I didn't know what the movie was going to be like. I think I saw
Yeah,
like one trailer, but I was like, oh, Blade Runner, yeah, I'll see it. Uh, so it was
yeah.
like
I had
it
no
was
idea what the movie
really,
would be about. Like, what can it
yeah,
do?
just a really like interesting way to continue this story. Um, yeah, that I just like haven't seen before in like sci-fi movies. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of stuff to say. It's been a little because like we were originally supposed to talk about this movie like last week, right?
Last week, but I
Okay,
got a bit distracted and did not watch it last week. I just watched the original, so that's the only one we talked about.
oh, it's fine. I was like thinking of like, oh, should I rewatch it just to refresh my memory? But then I was like, it's like a 2.5 hour movie, and I like just watched it, so I didn't. But yeah, I don't know. I just really like the story, and I really like the character of Kay a lot. And going in, it was like one of those things where like people made fun of like, oh, Ryan Gosling, he just is like straight faced man like who doesn't really uh you know I don't know. I think Ryan Gosling's a really good actor and he's like really good in the right roles. Um and I think he is expressive when he needs to be, but he is kind of known as like that, like from Drive and this movie. It's like straight faced man.
Well, I guess
But it
that
really
that worked.
works
It worked
here.
for this. Yeah,
Yeah. Which was another thing that I didn't expect this movie to do when I first saw it was like, oh, so the main character is just like whatever, like uh unapologetically. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like unambiguously like a replicant, I thought
yeah,
that was a really neat idea to take that. Because again, like the whole idea of like, oh, this finding out that there is like a way for replicants to create life is so much more interesting from the replicant's perspective, I feel. So that like really works. I like the relationship that he has with the Ana de Armas character who's in the background here.
Joy,
Um,
Joi is
yeah,
how
yeah,
what she's called.
uh, yeah. Just like I love the effects they did for that.
Yeah, some of those were
Where she's
really
like,
impressive, especially when she like kind of overlaid herself on the other replicant and following like her body motions and movement. And then when she goes out into the rain, when she's kind of able to move around a little bit more freely. Yeah, those are some really nice effects. I was genuinely impressed.
yeah, I like just Joy's like a hologram, so um, when they go outside in the rain, like the hologram has to like adjust to the fact that it's raining. It doesn't like detect it right away. I like
Hmm.
stuff like that that felt very realistic, you know. Uh, it makes the world feel like a lot more lived in a strange way. Like the fact that we're like kind of seeing more products and like everyday life in it, even if it is like a replicant. It was just like really interesting. Um, but yeah, I like that character a lot, and I like that dynamic because it's almost like, well, she's like not even tangible either, and I think
Hmm.
the woman who they bring into the apartment to have sex with Kay, like she was a replicant too, right?
Yes.
I think you said. Okay, well, I couldn't remember for sure, but
Yeah, because I mean, this was further in the movie, but she ends up being part of the like replicant resistant group because she popped up like
oh,
later. And I was like,
right,
"What's she
okay,
doing
that's
here?"
right.
Oh, okay, she's part of that group. So yeah, she is a
Okay, that
replicant.
makes sense. I forgot about that part. So, like, even she kind of before she leaves the apartment after the like one night stand or whatever, like they um whatever you want to call it, she kind of like talks to Joy and uh ba- basically says like, oh, you're not like a real girl or whatever, like something like that. uh I don't remember the exact line, but she basically
Yeah,
kind of
something
like
like that.
tells her like,
I want to be a
yeah,
real
like,
boy.
oh, you're like, oh, you're not even like, you know, like a replicant, you know. uh you're like almost
Hologram
like beneath
thing.
that. Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. um
Yeah, I thought the
I
interesting
was
part
really
about
upset.
that. Oh, when
Yeah,
she
you
died.
go ahead. Yeah,
Oh,
it
I was
was
about to
like
say the movie kind of
sad.
kept me guessing where it's like, okay, does she's what basically an AI essentially, right? Like
Yeah,
essentially. So it's like, are these feelings like when she tells him like she loves him at the end? I know that that's kind of jumping ahead, but you know, just how she's acting throughout the film. It's like, is she just programmed to feel that way, or she somehow genuinely feel like these emotions? The film kind of kept me guessing between that. It's like I just don't know if she's like programmed to be this way, or if like somehow like those are actually sincere. You know, I don't know if I was the only one that thought about that.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone because I'm trying to. I think it's my internet connection. I don't know if I want to change my internet connection uh to try to make it, because I like, I don't know if like your video is going to be bad or not or what.
If it
Should I
is,
try to just change my internet connection real quick?
if you want to, short intermission, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it disconnects this or anything.
All right, you're
Did it?
back.
Is it still on?
Yes,
Okay.
it still says recording.
Hopefully
Hopefully we're
hopefully
good.
the
Hopefully the video
yeah,
doesn't
hopefully
just
the
end
video
there.
is fine. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, my internet connection was pretty bad. It's much better now. So anyway, um what were we talking about? We were talking about Joy, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I liked that ambiguity to her.
I
And it
guess if there's anything Blade Runner is good at, it's ambiguity. So
Yeah, yeah, that was really smart. Um, I mean, to me, it felt very sincere in the end.
Yes,
But
it
but
does.
it's like you could still interpret it differently for sure. But it's like, okay, well, if replicants can create their own emotions and everything, like even if it is based on, you know, almost like a created, um, whatever, like psychology, because they're like memories are implanted and stuff like that, which I thought this movie did a really like cool thing with that. I love the whole idea of like Kay finding the horse and everything.
Yeah.
Like that was great. That was like a really like chilling moment.
hmm
Uh,
Where it's like, oh, he pulls it out. Oh, it's actually there.
yeah,
I think I said
and
that out loud when I watched the movie. It's like, oh, it's really there. It's a real
yeah, they
memory.
they build the suspense really well. I don't know. Have you seen any other movies by this director? Because
Probably not.
he did Prisoners, which was really intense. He did Enemy, which was a great like weird psychological thriller. Sicario, which I still haven't seen. I think we talked about Sicario when we talked about Wind River, because I think it's the same writer.
Oh, okay.
And he did Arrival, and he did the new Dune. So
Okay.
he's like
Yeah,
he's
I've
really
not
good at
seen
building.
I've not seen any of his other movies.
Okay, yeah, I think he's really good at like creating this like suspense. Like that scene in particular in Blade Runner 2049 was like, oh my god, like it's like you know he's gonna find the doll, you know? It's like
Yeah.
he has to. But it's just like, oh my god. Yeah, the kind of like arc of this character was so interesting to me. It's like the idea that like he thinks he's like this chosen one, sort of like miracle, uh, and then for that to kind of be, you know, subverted was like so. I don't know. It just like this movie definitely I think makes you feel more for the characters in the movie.
Yeah, I
Um,
think definitely more so than probably the original. But
yeah,
I loved the whole kind of mystery behind that. Like first we're finding out why he's doing like going after these people, then he finds out, oh, this is a replicant and it was able to have a baby, and then it turns out, it's Rachel. But then he's looking for this child, and then it's like, okay, it ends up being he thinks that it's him, and I think at that point the audience thinks it's him because just everything is kind of going together. He finds a wooden horse, and it's like, okay, so the twist is he's that child, and then it ends up being it's not him,
yeah,
and just
just
I
like
felt like the movie was always kind of making you question everything. It's like, okay,
yeah,
I really liked that. I thought it was a good way to kind of stay engaged.
yeah, and I felt like uh, because I said like this felt like a mini series in a way. Because when I watched it this time around, like that moment where he finds the horse, I was like, oh, that's like perfect moment to end an episode on.
Yeah,
You know,
that would
I
be.
like took a break and I like like got some like snacks and then like came back and like watched the rest of the movie. Um, I think that moment is just like, oh my god, it's so good. Um, oh, I wanted to just talk about the first scene where he Kay goes to
See
meet
Drax the
Drax.
Destroyer. Dang it, beat me to
Yeah.
it. I sometimes forget what Dave Batista looks like outside of the Drax outfit
Oh
look.
yeah, yeah.
So when he
He's got
talked,
the
but
voice
yeah, but
though.
when he talked, I was like, that'd be
Yeah,
Drax. Oh, okay, it's Dave Batista. I forget
yeah,
what he looks like sometimes. So but when he talks, it's like, oh, okay, Drax. Drax is in here.
yeah. Just like a really good performance for such a short-lived
Right.
character.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
actually sad when he died. Oh, no more
y-
Drax.
yeah, and I like how they. I mean, like obviously, like Dave Bautista's like a big built dude, and then kind of like Ryan Gosling comes in and still beats the crap out of him because I think Kay is supposed to be a newer model, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of the assumption.
because Dave Batista, he's like the old model, right?
Yeah, I think so. So it's like I thought that was just a good like way to establish like the the strength of these replicants. Like they did that in the original too. It was like I don't know. It was just like a really good scene. Just like Drax is beating Ryan Gosling's head into the wall and then like crash through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty funny.
And like, oh my god, when he like I think he like chops Dave Bautista in the neck or something, or like elbows him in the neck, doesn't he? Just something. And like I don't know, it like looked really painful.
Mm.
It's like
Well,
Dave
the whole
Bautista's just like,
beating looks painful if you want to,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, it's just like a really like great slow build to this like fight in just that one scene. Um yeah, I like the just the stuff with like Kay has this drone like on his car that can like detach and just
Yeah,
scan like everything. It
very futury.
looks
Yeah,
like very like
there's always just
Batman
like something like
Arkham
a little
Asylum.
robot that scans everything. That's how you
Yeah,
know it's
yeah,
futury.
yeah. It reminded me of like I don't know Batman Arkham Asylum or something, or like in
Yeah,
the Dark Knight when he gets
Batman's
those
gadgets.
glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be anything like that.
yeah, yeah. So I like that scene a lot. Um, okay, yeah, you know one character that I didn't like. I I don't know. I think it's just the actor that's distracting, but Jared Leto.
I knew it. I
I
knew it when he showed up. I was like, "Is that Jared Leto?"
yeah, it
I'm
was
like, "It's
so
Jared Leto." What? I didn't know
it,
he was in this.
okay.
Yeah, that was pretty
Even the
funny.
first time seeing this movie, I was just kind of like, I don't know what it is. Like I'm gonna try to explain this. Something about the way he performs this character makes me totally uninvested in what's going on with every scene he's in. It's like really hard to follow like any dialogue he says. It's so weird to me. I don't know how to describe it, but it's
The
just
Jared
like
Leto
something
effect.
about yeah, it's like something about the cadence of his like voice or something is just
You know,
so weird.
am I wrong that he could have had the "I'm not gonna kill you, I'm just gonna hurt you" really, really bad line in here?
Oh god. Yeah, I mean it's funny because like I like Jared Leto in older movies that he's been in. Like Requiem for a Dream is one of my favorites. I think he's great in that movie. Fight Club, uh, and American Psycho. All those like came out like within like 2 years of each other.
Well, I had no
Uh,
idea he was in this, so when he showed up, I almost was in disbelief just because Jared Leto's in this. That looks like Jared Leto. That's got to be Jared Leto.
yeah, he's like in. I think he's on the poster. Um, and I think I knew he was gonna be in it. Um, but yeah, every time I've seen this movie multiple times. This isn't like my second time seeing. I've seen it like I want to say at least maybe 4 times, maybe five, just over the years. I think I showed it to my parents. I've shown it to my friend David. I watched it again for this, so I've seen it at least 4 times. And it's like every time I see this movie, I have no idea what Jared Leto's saying, and it's not like oh he's like unintelligible or something like
Ah,
he's
I
doing
watched with
some weird.
subtitles, so there you go.
I know. I'm like I gotta like mute him or something during his scenes.
You know,
It's
I just have to say, I'm going to say this, and I'll see if you agree. He's
okay.
kind of like the only one in the movie who feels like he's being over the top for what this is. Would you
Yeah,
agree?
I would agree. Yeah, something about him. I think that's it. He's like too over the top.
Yeah, where nobody else is. Everyone else feels pretty grounded, and Jared Leto
Yeah.
feels like he's hamming it up a little bit, which a lot of times I like, but I think for this, I wasn't really feeling it. I didn't hate him in this movie, but when he showed up, it just I don't know, felt like I wanted to slap this guy. It just felt obnoxious.
Yeah, I'm just it's like I don't know if, yeah, I don't know if I like hate is the right word, but I'm just like every time he's on screen, I'm like
Yeah,
I gotta like try my hardest to figure out what he's saying and like what it means because his dialogue all feels very like cryptic in a weird way, like very weird
hmm
and pretentious. Is that a good word? Like I think I could say that. He sounds very pretentious, and it's like I think that's the idea because he's the villain
Probably.
of the movie.
Yeah,
But it's not
I
like,
think he could have toned it down a little bit. I guess that's. I mean,
yeah,
if anything, that's more on the director though, directing him. But it could just be Jared Leto doing what he wants. Who knows?
yeah, I don't know. And like again, I feel like this maybe is supposed to be intentional, but it just like, dude, every actor in this in every scene with him just looks so uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm like, he,
Maybe they were afraid, like, please don't send us dead animals in the mail, dude. This
yeah,
did come out like a year after Suicide Squad, so
yeah, and they probably filmed it
around the same.
around that time
Yeah,
or something.
probably. They were
Like
probably just hoping.
maybe a little after.
Please don't send me any dead animals.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Just every scene with him is so awkward.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it. Like he is like too over the top for what the movie is doing. Because there's intensity in the performances and everything, but like I don't know. It's weird. I feel like he would have fit well in the original movie.
Mm.
You know, because like there was some like hamminess to some of the characters, but like in a good way in the original. Like
Yeah,
um fuck the main replicant. What was his name?
Roy.
Roy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Rutger Hauer's
I was just about to say, obviously he was very kind of hammed it up. It was very over the top in like the last bit of the movie, but I think it worked in that a lot better.
Yeah, because in that one you feel like he's like I don't know,
I wasn't taken out of the movie with that. Like more so with Jared Leto in this.
no, because like Roy was like almost like playing with his food in a way, you know,
Yeah,
like an
I mean the
animal.
howling. Yeah, the howling and everything too.
Yeah,
It feel like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, it feels like a wolf or a cat like toying with its prey. It does. There's like a. It feels like intentional. Like with Jared Leto, it's
I
so
really wish
odd.
we could have seen Roy in this movie somehow. I really
That would
wanted
have been
that.
neat.
That would have
Yeah,
been.
I think it. I don't know how old was Rutger Hauer was still alive, right?
I don't
I
know.
think he was. I'm really not sure. I think it was like pretty recently he passed away. Yeah, it was 2019 that he passed away. So
Okay.
which is odd because his character in
Yeah,
Blade Runner
2019.
passed
Yeah, I think
away.
we talked about that when we talked about
Oh yeah, we
the
I
one
think
last
we
week.
did too. Yeah, that's so weird.
That
Uh,
is an interesting coincidence.
yeah. But yeah, and yeah, it would have been neat. But I kind of like that the cameos in this movie are very like appropriate. Like we see Edward James Olmos's character in like a retirement home because it's like, okay, well, he knew Deckard, you know, like that made sense.
Yeah.
We don't need to see like I don't know the police chief or yeah, like we only really see necessary characters, and it was like man, I really wish that advertising let let up on showing Harrison Ford because like I think his appearance in the movie is like really surprising if you like don't know that it's coming, you
Yeah.
know. And I thought Harrison Ford's like really good in this.
Yeah, he was good. I liked
I
him.
mean, like he's a really good actor just in general, but like I think it's like I don't know. I mean, like Indiana Jones and Han Solo are very like cool action
Yeah.
stars, and
He's
like
more
I kind of
psychotic
liked
for
just
sure.
yeah, I liked this like just kind of I guess like withered old man who's like more uh I don't know, just like still cool, but like because
Yeah.
he like manages to fight Kay pretty well.
Yeah, he still has the fight in him.
Yeah, which kind of made me think like maybe he's a replicant, but who knows? Um, he's had all this time to himself. Like who knows? I liked the thing too with the dog, where I think Kay like asks, like, "Oh, is it real or not?" And he's like,
I don't know.
"Ask him."
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was great. Um, yeah, and I like that they keep it ambiguous still. It doesn't matter, like, whether or not Rachel was like impregnated by a replicant or a human is kind of like irrelevant. Like
Either way, they would want to
yeah,
get rid of it. Like
yeah,
a
either way, it's
danger.
still yeah, it's like
Just the fact that replicants produce is enough,
yeah, I thought that was like really
or
well
can
done.
produce is like the whole point. It doesn't really matter if it would be from like a human or another replicant.
Yeah,
They'd want it gone either way.
Yeah. There was also like some I this time watching it, I was like, wait a minute. Harrison Ford is like living in Las Vegas, but they said like it's like totally, you know, irradiated, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a line in there that says like, oh, the radiation's basically gone now.
Yeah, because he was doing a thing
Like
where he
at
was
that point.
checking for levels of radiation. It was saying
Yeah,
normal, 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 stuff
I
like that.
missed that line. So I was like, oh wait, did they miss that? I was
Wait,
like, wait,
do you
he has to be a replicant.
do replicants age?
I I I think they do.
Okay, because
Because
I just now thought about that.
because Dave Bautista's character was fairly aged
That's true.
as well. So I
But
think it's like
did he always look like that though?
like that replicant, maybe. But like replicants were made to be like slave labor, so it's like I think they'd make them young.
Yeah.
It would be the idea. So like I think the implication is like replicants who don't have the 4-year lifespan are basically like the same as humans essentially. Like they age and
Okay.
everything.
That thought just popped in my head now, thinking
Yeah,
about
because I
aging. It's like, well, wait, if Deckard's a replicant, then he wouldn't age then. But I wasn't sure if they ever stated if replicants did age or not. I
yeah,
don't know.
and if Deckard was if he is a replicant, he'd be one of the older models for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that would make
Uh,
sense from the time he's from.
yeah.
So
So yeah, I think it's still pretty ambiguous. Yeah, which I think is really smart. Because yeah, that whole debate of like whether he's a replicant or not is like was such a big deal for the writers on the first movie. It's like, yeah, I think keeping it ambiguous, like it kind of ended up being better than just straight up saying. I don't know if Ridley Scott's intention was ever to like straight up say it was like he was a replicant. Um, but he was definitely more for like leaning towards like, okay, Deckard's a replicant. Where I think other people were like, no, he's human, or like at least keep it ambiguous. Um, but I don't know. There's probably more you could read on that. Um, I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to think of. I'm looking up the character's name. Uh, Love, the robot who like replicant who like works for um Jared Leto's character Wallace.
Wallace, yeah, Wallace.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Wallace.
Okay. So bad at remembering these character names.
I just watched it today, so I remember most of the names.
But yes, Sylvia Hoeks or Hux. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. She's Dutch. I don't know how you pronounce it, but like she's really good. I really liked her performance, especially like this time around. Just like so like intense, like all the time. Just I don't know. Just especially like in the final kind of confrontation with her in the water. Uh just like I don't know, she just looks so fucking pissed like all the time, you know, or she could just kill you like a second.
Yeah.
Like oh yeah, she like goes into the police station to steal the bones of the replicant.
And I don't know the name of the actor,
bones.
but
yeah, Damien
he was a Polka Dot Man, right?
Yeah, what was his name? Damien
something like that.
Des
Polka Dot
Malchian.
Man. He was in the Dark Knight. I think we talked about him before. Like he had that minor role in the Dark Knight, and he's also been Abracadabra in the Flash TV show. So I've seen him in other stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we talked about that when we talked about the Suicide Squad. But I've seen him in other mostly DC stuff, which I just find funny. Like the three things I thought of right off the bat, it's all DC related stuff he's been in.
Yeah, he's also been in a couple of Denis Villeneuve's other films. He was in Prisoners, and he was in Dune. Yeah, I like him a lot, David Des Malchian. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
He's good at playing a weird character usually, because most of his characters end up just being weird.
Yeah, and like, oh wow, the part where he dies, where Love goes into the police station to steal.
Yeah, that was pretty
bones.
I wasn't like 100% sure what she did to him, But
Yeah,
I don't know,
doesn't she like karate chops him in the neck or
something,
something,
yeah,
right?
something like that. But
Yeah.
it pushes his head a little bit like this, so when he's on the ground, you can see his head kind of, the chin is up, and it just
Yeah,
looked
and
really painful.
he's just like convulsing and his like eyes are bleeding and
Yeah, I was
shit.
like, oh, ooh, dang.
Yeah,
Like, hey, if you're gonna try karate chop someone in the neck like that, at least like kill them. Like, make it instant.
yeah,
Jeez.
I feel like the violence in this movie was definitely upped in certain ways. Like that was pretty brutal. Um yeah, I'm trying to think of some, like there was definitely some other stuff, right? There's like some parts in the when Kay goes to the, I don't want to say orphanage. It's like the child labor like place that he goes
Yeah.
to, where he like is kind of intercepted by bandits or people working for the child labor uh facility or whatever. Um and like Love shoots down like missiles from like a satellite or something
Mm.
at them, and like they like show some of like the kind of like explosions where like they people just blow up, you know, and like their bodies like fall into pieces. Like that was pretty brutal. Especially like compared to the original. I can't really remember too much like violence in the original that was like that brutal. It was maybe like just people getting shot. Like that's like about it. Um, but yeah, just like, yeah, certain moments like that were really well done. Um, yeah, I liked the character of Love a lot. Just very like intense, menacing like villain. Yeah, let's what else? The score is really good. I think it's Hans Zimmer, right? It's because
I don't
I
know. Good to
pretty
see how
sure
it could
it's
be.
not um the composer for the first movie, um, which I can't remember his name right now. Uh, Evangelist. It's not Evangelist. It's yeah, it's Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wallfish. What else did he do? I don't know. He's done some other stuff. He did like Shazam and the It movie, Stephen King's It. Um, but yeah, I like the score a lot in this movie. I think definitely the strongest moments are when they bring back pieces of from the original, like they play "Tears in the Rain" at the end. Um, thought that was really wonderful. I also liked it just with Kay's character that he still like decides to like do something worthwhile in a way. You know, like he doesn't. He basically could just go back to his own existence and like not do anything.
Yeah, especially when he
After
finds
he
out
finds out.
that, yeah, that he's not the child.
Yeah.
He's not
Um,
special per se. Yeah, no, he still decides to help Deckard out so that he can meet his daughter. Yeah, I liked
yeah.
that.
Yeah. I thought that was very sweet. Um, yeah. uh, yeah, and I liked that just the idea showing like how they make the memories. I thought was cool. Or like yeah, it's revealed that like Deckard's daughter uh is like um creates memories for replicants. And she has this little device that creates these almost like holograms uh of what she wants the memories to look like. It's like
I
very
I
like
like
cool ideas.
I liked how they also used that scene to once again like kind of further mislead the audience and Kay himself that, oh yeah, like this is a real memory, but it's like, oh, we can't do that. She says something along those lines, but he knows it's real because he went and got the wooden horse. But
Yeah.
then that in that twist, when it reveals it's like, oh no, it's a girl, and you get a better shot of the girl. She has short boy's hair and she has boy clothes on though. It's like, okay, it still works. It's not like, how does that work if it was a girl? Oh, it's like, oh, there you go. I like that. The movie was really good at like not only fooling Kay but the audience, I thought.
Yeah, because it really puts you into his perspective. Like we really don't see too many other characters'
Yeah.
perspectives other than like
I felt
love.
genuinely bad for him, like when we find out he's not the child.
Yeah,
I felt pretty bad for him.
yeah, because like that's what he's been. I don't know, just like thinking this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'm this like special thing that's going to change the world, and then oh no, you're not. But he still decides to do something like pretty that changes someone else's life. I really like that. Just little again, like sort of subversion, but yeah, just that arc of Kay's character is like really great. And I think it's implied that he dies at the end, right? I think that
Yeah.
was the
I think
implication. Yeah.
yes. Because at first I think it strongly implies, but I think I saw something in an interview saying that like the director confirmed that he did die.
Okay.
I kind of would have liked it also just kind of left kind of up in the air, kind of like with Cowboy Bebop's ending. Although no, I think that was
Yeah.
also like kind of confirmed, but I think only because
Yeah.
the director kind of said like if the director never said, it's like did he not, you know? Because you're
Yeah.
not
And I mean, you don't always
shown
have to go by what the director says
right.
because sometimes they don't know what they're doing all the time, or like they get too stuck on one idea. Because I think like I don't know if it needs this like particular moment needs to be ambiguous or anything.
I mean I just figured
But
that I mean it showed a close up of his wound
yeah,
first, so I figured okay he's probably dying because that looks kind of fatal. He took a really good beating before, and the wounds in the
yeah,
fight, and the fact that it focused on the wound first before it kind of pans back up to him, and just
yeah,
like slowly leaning back. Like I figured it's like he's dying.
yeah. And the fact that they play like the Tears in the Rain little musical score, which is the same score when Roy dies in the
Yeah,
original. I feel like that's kind
yeah.
of the
I'm fine with that though because he kind of
yeah,
got to do what he wanted before he
yeah,
died.
yeah. I mean, I thought of Cowboy Bebop too. Uh,
Okay, not the only one.
yeah, just like the way he is positioned, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I liked the ending a lot in the movie. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of more stuff to talk about with the movie. Because it's like 2.5 hours long. I'm sure I'm just missing things, because it's been a while since I
Yeah.
saw it.
I think we've talked about most of like the main points and twists and turns so far.
Yeah. Um,
I think I've pretty much said what I wanted to say about it, unless you can think of anything else.
um, I don't know. Not really. Um, yeah, I just liked the way like everything was like done in this movie. It's like I feel like Blade Runner should be one of those things that just every 30 years or so, they just like shove a whole bunch of money to make a movie at like for it again, and it'll just like flop. Because
Mm,
it's like because this one didn't do well either. Um uh I don't know why. I think maybe it was because it was too long. I really don't know. Because I think everyone who saw it liked it, and unless I don't know, there's probably a lot of people who said it was boring. Um, is my guess. But like, I don't know. I just yeah, I wonder why this movie didn't do as well as it should have. I feel um, like critically and everything, it was like a big success, but yeah, box office wise, I don't know why the Blade Runner films are like so. I don't know if they were like hugely disappointing or anything, but I don't think they like did super well. I'm looking. This movie had a production budget of 150 to 185 million, and it made like about 260 million at the box office. So that's not like great. It's what when you calculate, advertising budgets and stuff like that, distribution. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think there's gonna be like an Amazon Prime like series for it called like 20 like Blade Runner 2099. I
Yeah,
think.
something like that.
I'm excited to see if it's any good. Um, but I don't know. It almost feels too soon to like do another Blade Runner thing to me, but I don't know. I really liked how much this movie, just the amount of time that passed in this universe felt like if I watched the original movie when it came out, if I was like alive at the time, and then I watched this one, that it would be pretty like, I don't know, it would feel a lot more special, you know? It's like, okay, that's like the same amount of time that passed in this world. So I don't know. It, I guess like it doesn't really matter, but like, okay, we're suddenly going to jump 50 years in this universe, so we'll see.
Mm.
I'm excited to see it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much else to say that I can think of. I should have took notes or something, but just like a really good. I feel like this is like what a sequel should be. You know,
Mm.
just like expand on the ideas without, um, like I don't know, ruining the emotions from the original movie or anything, or relying too heavily on like nostalgia for the original movie.
I don't feel like this did that. You know.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Harrison Ford's appearance is very much like just necessary to the story. It doesn't like ham it up or anything. It doesn't like play it like, oh my god, that's Deckard or anything like that. It's very
Yeah.
like, oh, he's there. Yeah, he like kind of comes out of the shadows, which was a nice little kind of like visual reveal of him. But
He doesn't
yeah,
show up until like the last what hour or so either, 40 minutes maybe.
yeah,
So
like
he's not in the
really late
majority
in
of
the
it.
movie. Yeah. And yeah, other cameos and stuff are just like, oh yeah, Edward James Olmos is in it. They do have like a little cameo from Sean Young, um, digitally de-aged or whatever, which I thought was like an actually like appropriate use of digital de-aging, because it kind of like, it's like, okay, Deckard knows it's fake. It doesn't look quite real. It looks good, like the effects look good, but there's still that like uncanny effect to it.
Mm.
Kind of like, I don't know, it kind of feels like it puts us in Deckard's perspective a little bit, you know. Um, yeah, yeah, I just really like this movie. It's really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Um,
it too.
yeah, I don't know. What would you rate it?
My rating is a 4 out of 5 actually, so a little bit higher than what I rated the original.
Okay.
So because I at least like just first time, I think this was just like an easier movie to get into than the first
Yeah,
one.
I
Um,
think so. It's very
and
much like
I
you could
just was a
appreciate it.
little bit more
Surface
engaged in this one. I liked the mystery of trying to find out who the child is and the twists and turns revolving that. I think character-wise, this one was a little bit stronger, and it like visual-wise, it was beautiful. I just really enjoyed this movie. It like it was also pretty lengthy movie, but um, I have to agree with what you said. It doesn't feel like its length. So there were some slow parts, of course, but I think for the most part, it was pretty well paced. Which,
Yeah,
for
definitely.
like a 2.5 hour movie, that's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, watching it again, I feel like I actually appreciate the slower bits a little bit, because you just like
Mm.
get more time in this world, and I
Yeah.
like that.
So,
Um,
but yeah,
yeah,
I give it a 4.
all right. I'm trying to think of, because I really love this movie. Like I love both movies. Um, and I gave the original a 5. Um, so I was struggling between 4.5 and 5, but I think I'm just gonna give it a 5, because it's like it's so much better on a story level, on just like a writing level, while still like just really filmmaking wise is like really impressive.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
the whole part at the end with them fighting in the water was like really well done.
Yeah.
Um,
I could see myself watching this one again, I think, before the original. Though I would like to see the original again. Probably the next time I might feel like watching this one, I'll watch the original first.
yeah,
Um,
I think I like these two movies a lot because they're very very different, and I get very like different experiences out of that. Like original, love the atmosphere, just like that's what I come back to that movie for. And this movie has atmosphere for sure, but I just it's more story for this one. It really is like a TV show in a way to me. I mean, like it's like almost 3 hours. Like I think it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Um, just like I don't know, really good. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna give both movies a 5 out of 5,
Sounds good.
which I guess is our first perfect score, but I don't know what
Yeah,
Dustin would have given it.
yeah. Obviously, I don't know. So, but hey, wait, perfect score for
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Not
I
perfect
give it
score.
4.
Yeah, you gave it 4. I'm dumb. So, but yeah, yeah, just really good movie. Both of these movies. Like, if you're a sci-fi fan, like you got to check them out. Um, okay, well, what are we gonna do for next time?
You know,
Um,
I didn't even think about next time.
well, I think I sent you something a while ago, and I don't think you'd be opposed to this.
I know
Uh,
you had the show, right? That you wanted to watch.
no, I sent you something different.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah, a little while ago.
let's see. I don't remember.
Basically, I think Netflix announced that the Spider-Man trilogy is on
Oh,
Netflix,
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
and I kind of thought like it'd be fun to just do the Spider-Man trilogy. I mean, what do you think?
I'd be down with that. Obviously, I'm always game to watch the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man 2 is
Yeah,
like my second favorite movie. So
yeah, I think Spider-Man 2 is like my favorite superhero movie. Um, yeah, we'll see how we're gonna talk about them, if we're gonna talk about them one by one, like weekly, or just all together. We'll discuss that on our own. Um, but yeah, yeah, Netflix. I'm pretty sure it has it now. I'm gonna double check just to make sure. Um, just give me 1 second. Spider-Man. Okay, yeah, it looks like they have all 3 Spider-Man films. Uh, so yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you then. Uh, watch the Spider-Man trilogy on Netflix. Bye.
bye.